I suppose it doesn't matter what I say right now because you're not even here. I don't know if you're going to be here when they get here. But let's pull some cards. And you know what? I think to pay attention to the fact that there's no one here, we're just going to do the cards for you. You, who's one person that is watching. Okay. Yeah. I don't really need anyone to tell me what I can and cannot do. Or something. I don't know. I just had a mouthful of fucking moonshine, so I'm a little bit tipsy. But I read cards a lot better when I'm like this. It opens up my mind in different and abstract ways. Allows me to expand and so that I can see things differently than I normally would. Not that I can't see that way when I'm sober, but sometimes it's just a little bit more fun like this. It's hard to explain. I used to be an alcoholic. I guess alcoholic is what, yeah, fuck it, you can call it alcohol. I used to be an alcoholic. So when I was an alcoholic, I would just go like bonkers and do some crazy shit, which I still do from time to time. But the crazy shit that I do when I'm drunk or high is the same shit that I would do when I'm sober. It's just that the alcohol or drugs are just giving me the courage to give me the initial boost to do it. You know what I mean? Because what I would really like to do is get a bunch of you on here and watch me do the cards live for you. But I don't think I need to do that. I think that this reading is going to be so good that it's going to inspire you to... Shit, it's too many. Oh my God. Everything happens for a reason. This thing is titled Everything Happens for a Reason. Fuck, I wish there was fucking people here. See, this is the type of shit that I wish I was recording. Like, this is weird. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm shuffling cards, and every couple of seconds or so, there is a card that pops out. And usually in the tarot game, if a card pops out, everything happens for a reason. That card popped out for a reason. You had to see it for a reason, so we got to take this motherfucker out. So while we're here, do you know? Let's make this like a little bit of tutorial on how to read cards as well, because it's actually very fascinating science, believe it or not. That it's more than just some jerk off looking at a couple cards and seeing what they mean and then telling you what they mean. No. This is a very abstract and precise science. It is a method of psychoanalyzing. It has the capabilities of curing any mental disease, no matter how extreme. And I can prove that because I wrote 14 books documenting my personal case. And I don't give a shit what Freud or Jung or your Psych 101 teacher said, or what your psychologist said, or your drug counselor, or anybody. I don't give a fuck. Oh my God. Not anybody, nobody is going to tell me that I have not seen everything that I mean, especially going through your entire life with everybody telling you that you're wrong. Okay? It feeds in you a need to know, a need to be, a need to see, if you will. And to keep track of your life. It's been a dream of mine since I was a kid, so that's what I did. I started writing last June Everything, every day, every motherfucking day. There might be maybe a total within the past from June 3rd, 2018 till today. The total amount of words written are probably close to, I just did the calculations before, about 650,000 words written within the past year and few months. The reason for that is because I've been going through a lot of changes. Psychologically, physically, and emotionally, especially. And the reason for that is because probably coming up to my 38th birthday last year, I was started to go through some life changes. I guess it could easily be called a crisis because I started to see how shitty my life was. But then I started to look at it and realize that my life was only shitty because I was the one making it shitty. And when I realized that I was the one making it shitty, I decided that it was time for me to be the one who fixed things up. Because that's what men do, right? I mean, none of the men I've ever met, I've never met a man, there's not a man in my life that ever once tried to fix their problems. Not my dad, not my best friends, not my family. No, I've never seen a single man in my life ever try to solve a problem. That's why they were all divorced. That's why they're all miserable. That's why all their wives and women are either divorced or on their way to divorce, cheating or on their way to cheating. Just done. Checked out. Everyone's checked out. I don't know anyone that's not checked out. The only person that's not checked out that I know of is me. The only reason I know I'm not checked out is because I'm me. Because everybody else seems like they're checked out. I don't know. Unless everyone's got this like grand scheme that they're not telling me about. But I mean, I'm doing the same thing. This is my grand scheme. It's like, fuck it. If nobody else wants to talk to me, I'm sure eventually, eventually someone's going to want to talk to me because, I don't know, I like listening to me talk. I'm not talking for you. I'm talking for me. It's just, I figured if I find myself so entertaining, how can I entertain anybody else if I'm not entertaining myself first? If I'm not entertaining myself, I can't expect entertaining you. Because my sense of humor is way more sophisticated than yours. And just because you don't find me funny or entertaining doesn't mean that I'm not funny. It just means that you're not smart enough to understand my form of entertainment. If you decide to take it as defensive or me attacking, that's your own fucking problem, not mine. What that says is that you're insecure about your shit. And yeah, I keep staring at my hairline because I'm fucking really sensitive about my fucking hair falling and it looks like it is. That sucks. Anyway, my father always said skip the generation, but my father seemed to be the one that was balding, but he was also balding because he had cancer. But the only reason he had cancer was because, I don't know why. He needed cancer so that he can, my father died of cancer, and sucks. But that's kind of why I am the way that I am. It's actually one of many things, many reasons why I am the way that I am, but it's one of the most significant ones of that experience, this experience of life, is because, one, it reminded me of my own finality. And it also took away one of my crutches that I've had for my entire life. What kind of crutch? I don't know what kind of crutch. He used to pay some bills for me. He used to help out watching my son. He used to be an ear, I guess. Not a good one, but he never actually showed that he was paying attention. But I think the reason for that was because he was a little bit. He was probably a little bit jealous because I had what he didn't have, which was what appeared on the outside to be stability. That makes sense. Well, it was semi-stable. I mean, the only people that really realized it wasn't stable was me. So I think there was a time where it was stable, but then slowly I became less stable. And when I became less stable is when I started to feel being less stable. And how do you explain that? When you can feel someone else's feelings, it's like you can feel other people. Empath. I don't like to use that word because everybody can do it. It's not like makes you special, but everybody can do it. Everybody can feel what everybody else is feeling. You just tell yourself that you can't. And that's your own fault. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just because you can't think as good as me. Maybe. I can't tell. Maybe that's why, like, you listen to me talk and you call the cops to check my mental health to see if I'm going to kill myself. Which, coincidentally, I actually was writing about killing myself that morning. But you have to understand, from my point of view, I write about that every month. That's like, listen, I know the boy who cried wolf. Like, you don't need to tell me. Cops know now too, by the way. And I would definitely suggest not doing that because I don't think they're going to be cool with it because I made them look like assholes when they were here. And they were not happy that I did that, but they realized there was nothing that they could do except for smite the bitch who fucking called them out here, the fucking miserable ex-wife. You told me I could get a restraining order, so please don't do that fucking again. Especially you drove my mother off the fucking wall. I would love to say this to your face, but the fact that you won't call me or say anything, I mean, I got to resort to shit like this, but that's why I do what I do. This is what being a wizard is all about. It's not about blaming my ex for my woes. As I pull myself back. It's not easy. You get lost sometimes. But that's because when you have to allow yourself to dig into the lower depths of the places that you don't normally want to go. I think, technically. If you understood, the reason I'm not even getting into the system of cards that I'm using is because you're not going to understand it. I use them as a guide sometimes, but I realize I don't need them. Because I'm going to say exactly what they're going to tell me, whether they're here or not. And I'm just watching along to make sure that they do. And in this particular system, yeah, they follow my exact words to a fucking T. It's and you know what? I'm gonna actually explain this because I think in different terms as people sometimes, and I can communicate with the future. One of the positives of learning alchemy so early on, and to find out how similar it is to Reiki, which I was just studying Reiki last week, which is an incredible system, very awesome, and it's been working like a son of a bitch. And it's so easy. But here's the thing is it's a little bit bullshit. I mean, it's real. It's definitely real. And I definitely suggest learning it 100%. Because it's 100% real. Oh my God. I had it done last year for the first time. I never, I didn't know anything about it. A friend of mine gave me a little bit of a tip off to do it. And I thought it was going to be some kind of weird massage type of thing. But no, it wasn't. It was so uncomfortable. The uncomfortability was the most enjoyable aspect of it because it was kind of tapping into an aspect that you don't normally let surface. And that's what a lot of this like magic is about. People call it magic because that's really what it is. It's the magic of being able to control yourself. It's like those fucking shitty self-help things. There's the fucking, is that dude's name? Tony Robbins. If Tony Robbins was a witch, he would be like, he would probably rule the world if Tony Robbins was a witch. But I think that other lady rules the world. What's her name? Marina Abramovich. Her. She talks my style. That's a lady. People call her a Satanist and a kid fucker and all this stuff. No. No, she's an old school. She's an old school practitioner. She knows shit that would fucking, whew, baby, make your head spin. You wouldn't be able to comprehend. I've seen a few interviews with her where she gets to a level that she almost popped my cork once just by talking. And this is an old lady too. But she understands an aspect of mysticism that you fucking mortals have no goddamn idea. She's a smarty pants. But that's also why she makes a shit ton of money doing fuck all. Doing rituals for you fucking peasants. That's what she makes her money off of. That's a good. She actually reminds me of my aunt. She really does. She reminds me of my Aunt Helen, because my aunt had this. My mother has it too. This power that they have over men, that they just like. Let's fucking grab them. If you know me, you know my aunt. If you know me, you know my aunt. You know some stories about my aunt. If you were lucky enough to meet her, she was an animal. She was a wild fucking demon. She also had a way with controlling human beings that I always thought was the most fascinating thing in the world. I used to. She was my role model when I was a kid. Wasn't my dad or fuck what I want to be my dad for. He was doing fucking tile. It looks miserable. My aunt, she had men taking care of her whole life. I always wondered, why isn't that possible for men? Most of these idiots, they go to work and they do all this shit and they drive themselves nuts to try to act all tough and actually convince themselves that they are sometimes to they're gonna stand up for this woman, man. When in reality, all they're doing, they're just coping with mommy issues that they haven't been able to deal with, which unfortunately makes a lot of them think that they want to have sex with other men because they happen to bump into people just like them. But it's all right. I mean, it's sex. It's sex. It's body is a body. It doesn't really matter. A hole's a hole. I mean, everyone's got a preference of what they like. It is what it is. I mean, I don't approve of certain things. If you think I'm talking to you, that means I am. But if you think I'm talking to you, I'm not. It's just because you got a bad thing about yourself, not me. Sorry. That's not my fault. I don't feel bad about it. I don't give a fuck. I mean, I care because that means that there's something inside myself that I'm not looking at. Which, no, I look at all the bad stuff about me. Don't worry about it. If there's anybody that fucking knows about me, it's me. Which is actually, I wonder why people think they know as much as they do sometimes. And this impromptu little show that I'm doing, it's just because I've been doing a lot of self-exploration past couple days, starting with a new deck that my friend Tim got me for my birthday. I know it's negative looking, but there's a reason why I wanted those. It's because I'm used to decks and the normal decks, they do the same thing that deck does, which is they help you, which is the same that this one does. It helps you dig into yourself and kind of analyze your situation in life and really dig into why you are the way that you are. Like, it helps you. Well, you can't find the source of a problem until you understand the problem itself. And when you take into consideration all the other shit that I've been saying, plus my own personal study of the cards, think of it this way: you make teeth. Do I ever tell you how to make teeth? No, because I don't know how to make teeth. So I can't tell you how to make teeth. So you don't tell me what I can and cannot do. So I appreciate your discern, but shut up your ass. I mean, I don't care. I don't get scared either. Well, I do. I'm not showing nobody that shit because you're not worth it. Scared of shit right now. This is the best you're going to get. Video. Good for you. Congratulations. Glad you waited so long. So, see how weird that is? Because it's weird like that, because what you have to do in order to be able to really look at yourself and not be afraid of what people think, because really, do you think I want to go outside and act like this? I mean, yeah, no, there's times where I get impulsive and I get these inspirations to go a little bit off. It's like, I deserve it. 22 minutes and 22 seconds. That was pretty cool. I said that. If you are into numbers, which everything happens for a reason. It's a reminder of the cool shit that happens when you're not paying attention, when you're so caught up thinking about how you're right about everything, and you don't try to open your mind to the concept that you could be wrong. That sometimes a little, hello, wake up, happens, and you have no choice but to come back, just like that. There is magic. It's 100% real. It is 100% malleable, and it's all around you. It's like being a Jedi. I dated this girl once, and we used to play this online game. It was called Star Wars Galaxies. Really awesome game. It was one of those online games where like everybody is playing the game at the same time, and how often did we played it like all the time. We played like almost every single fucking day. This is back in early 2000s. Fucking awesome game. Fortunately, got ruined. There are some mavericks out there that are trying to put it back together again, but they've been at this for literally 15 years. 15 years. I think most people like me, impatient people like me, were expecting a year. Once in a while, I check up on it, but it doesn't seem like it's ever progressing. I don't know. It's almost like they're not even actually doing anything. But I don't know. I don't know what kind of work goes into recreating a game. 15 years just happens to seem like a long time to me. I don't know. It's just me. But whatever. It's not about that game. The point is, in the game, it was a Star Wars game based on the Star Wars universe, and you can choose from like several different species and several different classes of characters, and you play this game and you progress, and it was almost like a life simulator, but a life simulator in the Star Wars universe, which is fucking awesome if you like Star Wars as much as I do. And the girl that I was dating at the time, which I was working at this radio station, which is a whole long fucking story, but it's really fucking cool. For this whole totally long story, it's not even that cool. But the experience was cool. The story isn't that cool. The experience was cool. I mean, it was cool doing lines of meth off the board, but and tormenting listeners and embezzling them for their money, and even their children, throwing their children's sneakers into the woods so far that you know that they're not going to find it because the kid was a fucking prick and decided to throw coffee at you. Fuck that kid. And fuck his shoes. You know, I mean, hopefully some adult does it to my son. Get him back for not calling me on my birthday. For no fucking good apparent reason, because it was his own fucking fault that things happened the way they did. And I mean, yeah, I guess so. You know what? This is fault. His fault and my fault. Unfortunately, his mother was the victim. Because I didn't have the balls to tell her what he was telling me. And then once I did have the balls to tell her, I didn't have the balls to respond the way I should have when she told me the bullshit that she told me. That's why. But yeah, we're about caught up right about now to the center of the deck that I laid out. That's amazing. So what these cards do, and if I keep on alluding to this because I feel like I do, it might just be the moonshine and the THC that I'm smoking, is that what these cards do, they help you tap into a little aspect of yourself. You would like going to therapy, okay? It's hard to fucking look at yourself. You know it is. Fuck hell, God, it is. It's times we have to smoke drugs and drink alcohol to cope with these problems. But if you are creative, if you're imaginative, highly imaginative, you can use these tools to help you gather the courage in yourself to look at these aspects that suck. I'm pretty high and I'm kind of drunk, but I've been doing this for a long time. Not drinking and getting high. I mean, yeah, no, drinking and getting high. I've been doing that for a very long time. But I've been learning to look at myself internally. Me, I could stare at me all day. I don't, for some reason, I feel like I'm not coming off very good right now. But I think it's just the lighting. Maybe the lighting's actually showing me my real face. Goddamn sunlight. Trying to murder us vampires. I don't go out very often. Yeah, it's not because I'm crazy. It's because I write too much. I'm writing 3 books at the moment, as a matter of fact. It's like a pain in the ass because unless you've never written a book before and tried writing a book, you have no idea what it's like to write 3 books at the same fucking time. And it's very difficult. Incredibly difficult. Especially when you have normal life shit that goes on, like not so prevalent that it is pulling on you, but you're pulling on it because you're having a hard time of letting go. Huh. Yeah, I know. But the only reason that you're having a hard time letting it go is because the reason that you even got into the thing in the first place to even write the book was because you wanted to make an example of yourself, because you thought that you were doing the right thing. But I guess where people would say that you're doing the wrong thing, you're doing the right thing, because it just depends on the perspective that you're looking at the thing from in the first place to really grasp whether it was the right or the wrong thing. But if you look at it from my perspective, every right has the wrong mixed right in, and every wrong has the right mixed in. Not the same right or wrong, but it just happens to be that every wrong has a right and every right has a wrong. And then there's all those shades of gray in between, which have all their perspectives of right and wrong mixed in between. So it's almost like you have an infinite number of fucking crazy things, and we just get mixed up on this one two-dimensional thought that we have that we forget to expand upon the 20 billion dimensional aspect of reality that we really have in front of us. That's right there. Hey, right in front of us. Oh. Hey, right in front of me. Hey. Give me back to this. Once you get over that, then it's really kind of like easy peasy living greasy. Then you just realize that all the shit that's in your head is actually outside of your head. It's just, it can't interact with you on the outside, so it has to interact with you on the inside. So that's why it's called the third eye, because it's showing you what you can't see with the other two. The other two only can see so much. Was it this video that we got into the electromagnetic spectrum and how we only see about this much of it? Yeah, all those waves, the electromagnetic spectrum, it's energy. Light falls into the category, sound, voice. The things that you touch, we're just a different density of sound. That's why sound can affect you. That's why light can affect you. Laser beams can burn through you, and a sonic boom can blow you up. You're just a different frequency. Look, you're a different radio frequency. A sonic boom exists no matter what. I mean, that dimension of existence is there. The sonic boom is just our dimension crossing over. Just like that impact. Yeah, it's a sound, but it's also cracking into a whole new dimension. It's letting loose something that wasn't there before. Every action has an equal or positive, equal or opposite reaction, right? Sir Isaac Newton, or is it just a reaction? Every action has a reaction. I thought it was every action has an equal or opposite reaction. Almost like karma, which means that every thing that you do, something good or bad, is going to come of it. Just like I know that every action that I take, something good or bad is going to come of it. It's just that I just happen to learn how to see one action into a multitude of other actions. Moments in between moments, in between moments, in between moments. And what indulging in 33 minutes, 33 seconds right there. Jesus Christ. Indulging in alcoholic or narcotic substance enhancers is kind of a way to unlock those aspects of yourself that you can't normally reach into. What does that mean? It's not that you get high and you worship the devil. No, you get high and you look at, why do you think the devil's even there? Who taught you about that shit? Like, who put that in your fucking head? Who put it in your head that your worst nightmare is your biggest dream? Like really, what sick monster in your life made you feel so bad about yourself that your one desire, the one thing you want in all the world, is the one thing that kills you on the inside? Who did it? I can't even imagine. Did it yourself. Why? Because you didn't know any better. Because nobody did. Nobody knew any better, so everybody just kept on doing it. And it's, oh my God, it's so depressing. So, hold on, I gotta check on this guy. I think I know what this guy means. I just always forget. Yeah. Not what I thought, but not what I was expecting. Yeah. So, that's me. Yeah, making a scene, and yeah, and I'm trying to get attention. But the only reason I'm doing that is because, one, I can't work for a normal job anymore. It's not that I can't because I'm fucking disabled. No, I really am. I'm kind of disabled from a relatively normal standpoint, where that I would say I'm kind of autistic, but I'm not autistic because I know what it is. I'm conscious of it. Like I'm a grown up and I can figure out my problems. And I figured out what the autism, the schizophrenia, because there's a little bit of schizophrenia in there too. Dissociative, paranoia, like some serious shit, PTSD. But it's all normal stuff. We all have it. Just like cancer, we all have it. It's just it's a part of us. It's whether we allow it to manifest is the question, and whether it manifests or not is really just based on our mentality. And we're not, well, maybe I think it kind of manifests no matter what. I think I beat cancer a couple times already, but that just could, I don't know. I don't have any proof on that, and I really don't want to find out. Well, I'm gonna have to find out one day. So now that I've said it, so which is fucking something I wanted to test out anyway. Long story. My father died of cancer. I don't know if I mentioned that. And I believe my grandfather died of cancer as well. His father, almost the same thing, because they both had fluid around the heart. I know this because my grandmother told me that her husband had the same thing as him. In that respect, fluid around the heart. And fluid around the heart, I did some research before my father died, and it turns out that fluid around the heart only comes from a few things, and a few of those things is like not herpes. I forget what it is. So there's a couple just like very choice causes, except for cancer. Cancer was like pretty much the most logical of all of them at the time. So that's why I was very comfortable from the very beginning, realizing that it was over. So I guess and you know what, it's from the minute he died, I've been analyzing everything that's been going on in my life from that moment forward. And though, I mean, like making change doesn't happen overnight. I mean, not for everybody, not for me, at least. It took a while. I tried my best not to let it bother me, but the more I did that, the more I noticed that it was just fucking driving me absolutely bonkers, which is fine. It is what it is. Can't be angry. So I did my thing as best I could. And in my alone time, I thought and thought and thought and thought. It sounds normal for everybody. But eventually my thought brought me to all of this mystical shit. And the weird thing is, the more that I started to study the mystical shit, and then I just say mystical because that's what you would think of it as, but it's not really that mystical. It's just a different way of thinking. I guess that's why it's mystical, is because if you really understand it and you really just accept that it is the way that it is, and I say that because it's not that you're just going, fuck it, I don't care, let's just do doop-a-deep. No, it's when you this avenue of thought, requires and we call it you call it practitioner, because what you're doing is you're just running experiments constantly. You're testing the boundaries of reality almost in such a way that you see these and have these experiences that are difficult to explain with the rational mind, because the rational mind always goes to the most logical conclusion that you can think of. One being, oh, it's a coincidence. Yeah, it's a coincidence. You can call it that as many times as you want. But then eventually you do need to logically think, come back and say, how many times does that have to happen before I start to realize that it's not a coincidence anymore? And no, it may not always be for the same thing, always the same situation, but that should be testament enough to go, this is weird because this is happening everywhere. This is not just one aspect of my life. This is a multitude. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck at, is this shit fucking happens so much. They go, frick, what was I going to say? I said this idea and I totally fucking forgot. But when people get into that mind frame, and you get a taste of what reality is, and you draw back, because that happens a lot too. Is like you see this stuff and no, scary. I mean, there's some scary stuff. Let's be honest. I mean, ghosts and goblins are one thing. I mean, demons. I mean, I'm not fucking around, man. I can tell you some shit about fucking demons that are like, it's out of control. It's weird. It's like totally fucking weird. But understanding the science behind it, it's fucking cool. Because it's like knowing something that nobody else knows. It's kind of like whatever you do. Think about whatever it is that you do that you're so great at. It's that. It's just that I found my own thing. Instead of putting a sticker on a car or fixing a toilet, it's kind of using my brain in a different way, in that I get to be creative and impress the fuck out of chicks. I don't know, because a lot of them think a lot of the shit that I say is cool. And I don't know many that like to talk about putting stickers on cars and fixing toilets. I mean, I know girls like that type of stuff if they need that type of stuff. I was married once, and I know that my wife would have loved to have been married to a man who could change toilet pipes or fix a washing machine. But my interest laid elsewhere, and way cooler stuff than pipes. And well, I think it's cooler than pipes, because the difference between me and most people is that a demon is just an emotion. It's you can poke fun at the idea of demonology and theosophy, philosophy. You make fun of it. I mean, you can drink your beers and watch your TV shows to it, while your wife gets you little snacks that she cooks in the microwave, which is cool. I've been there once, and I left it, and because it wasn't very cool. And so, to actually be able to expand on things that I do enjoy, I mean, like, I like the other guy stuff too. I like playing video games and talking to my phone, and talking to chicks when my wife wasn't around, because I know that's what we all do. Because our wife just doesn't do it for us anymore, because we're so dependent on what she's not giving us, that we're not paying attention to what we're not giving her, which is usually everything. So we get distracted, and we distract ourselves with stupid shit. Because all men are just receptacles of sort, I guess. They don't really have much use. Women make them think they have use by making them go to work to make money. But money, you really don't need money. My brother said this to me. He asked me the other night, he's like, what do you think would happen if trying to have me imagine a world where everybody had millions and billions of dollars and nobody would need money anymore? What he didn't understand was if you gave everybody that much money, you wouldn't need money anymore. I mean, there would be no point. Which kind of brings up the aspect, but come back, that money is only got as much power as you give it. I mean, you work as much as you do just to have money. You buy money. You buy money with your life. You sacrifice your blood for this God that you've created. You fucking people think I'm sick. Shit, you fucking people saying cops here fucking coming here to check to see if I'm going to kill myself. Fucking hell, I should be doing the same motherfucking thing. I should probably be doing it about your kids, because your kids are probably, if you're that fucked up, imagine how fucked up your kids are. I don't even want to fucking find out. Definitely don't want to find out, especially when they're not mine anymore. And I don't need to give a shit. So, with that, oh crap, I have to delete this one on that. Yeah, maybe not. Fuck it. I don't really give a shit. Who the fuck's gonna watch it anyway? And if they do watch it, fuck you. Do I have a drug problem? Yeah. Just like you did. But I didn't ask you to watch me make a fool of myself right now. So, fuck you. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you. I don't mean that. What I really need to say is, no, you should rewind and watch the whole thing. It makes a lot more sense when we get to why I said everything I did. Unless you've been watching the whole time and it just got to that and you're like, whoa, what the fuck are you doing? No. Just showing an example of a emotional outburst, I guess, is what you call it. I guess it's like an energy. Things get a little too uncomfortable for a minute because there's something about myself I didn't want to look at. And so it just came out as an attack instead. Because instead of attacking myself for what it was that I was embarrassed to talk about, I decided to come at the camera. Because that's ultimately what I was doing, because there's no one here. I'm sitting in a room by myself, talking to a camera on YouTube. I'm very well aware. I don't know if you've ever heard of LARPing. Action role playing. It's and trust me, not all of it is. I mean, there's some shit that I mean. No, really, I do believe I'm a wizard and like a fucking magician. I know I do magic. Ain't no fucking doubt about that. You motherfuckers don't even have an idea. People like to judge the shit they don't understand. But Jesus Christ, if you saw things I did, things I've seen, oh my God. You ever see the in Fight Club, Willard Durden, Lou and Lou's bar, and he's like, "Oh, you know what I've been, Lou? You know what I've been." That's like, sometimes I hear people talking and I want to jump on them and do that. And just, the fuck do you even know? What do you even know? Oh, your job? You're sad about your job? You don't like your job? You're not happy with your boyfriend? You're not happy with your girlfriend? Oh my God. You don't want anyone to know that you're gay? Oh my God. To read everybody like a fucking book. Because everybody is just thinking the same thing I am. Well, and the more that I'm able to accept it in myself, the more that I'm able to accept it in everybody else. Because everybody else is giving off the same goddamn thing that I am. Because if they weren't, it wouldn't make me so defensive about the way that I feel about myself. Now, granted, I know I said gay, but I've started to come to realize there's actually a science behind homosexuality on both sides. That it's just comes really down to mommy and daddy issues. I believe, I don't know. I think it has to be getting raped as a kid, really. I think a lot of stuff has to do with being raped as a kid. Having been raped, having not been raped, having been raped by the same sex, having not been raped by the same sex. Like, I think there's a lot of variables that go into it. But I think most of our problems stem from molestation, having been molested or not. Can't prove that yet because I haven't had enough people volunteer, but I hope one day to change that. Because I think there's a lot to learn, not just from the victims, but from the perpetrators as well. I think we always get into the notion that it's not good to understand the inside of a pedophile's brain. And I think a lot of people are afraid of that because they're afraid that they might hear a lot about themselves. That's what I think. But I can't prove that yet. Because I think everyone's a pedophile. My ex-wife could definitely fucking account for that because I said it all the time. And I smell it on you people. But that's also because society has us convinced that everyone's a pedophile. At least in the world that I was running in, I was mixed up with conspiracy folk. And getting mixed up with those people, you start to find out that they were all blaming everybody for being pedophiles and all this shit. And then you start to sit back and start watching and go, hey, you know what? Maybe it's them too. Maybe the reason they like to point the fingers because they don't want the finger pointed at them. People are sick. People are very sick. But hey, you know what? I mean, I'm not gonna yell at anybody. I'm not gonna judge anybody for anything they do because it's not my fucking place. Because it's not like I've ever done anything fucked up myself. I'm not talking about fucking babies. That's like gross. No, I mean, like I've fucked up in my life. I know what it's like to look back on things that you've done and go, fuck. Too bad. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. What are you supposed to do? I mean, listen, nobody does anything because they weren't at the time that they were doing it. They thought they were doing what they wanted to do. Was it right? No. Do they regret it? Probably very much. You don't need to. No, you know what I mean. It's good to poke the bear. It's good to poke the wound. Because the only way to really get any kind of wound and infection to heal properly is get the pus out. You got to clean it. You need to agitate it. Otherwise, it doesn't heal itself. You know. I don't like headaches. I don't take headache medicine. I don't get headaches anymore. I haven't had a headache in so long. I mean, I do. I do when I think too much, but that's my own fault because I push my mind into realms of thinking that aren't normal. We'll call it normal because what would I consider you to think normal is like sitting around watching TV. No, it's thinking a little bit more abstractly than just going to work, coming home, going to sleep, waking up, going to work, coming home, going to sleep. There's more involved than that. I know a lot of people think that it's just like this constant cycle, but there's actually a lot more to existence than just running on a hamster wheel, so to speak. And I figured that out on my own, and I decided to make a change. But the fucked up thing is, like, a lot of people are so caught up in that mentality that they think it's the only way, and they try to bring you down, and they try to make you get back onto the hamster wheel really hard. They really do try their best. They will tell you that there's something wrong with you. And the most bizarre aspect of that is that they tell you what's wrong with them, but putting it on you. But I mean, at the same point, they're also right about you. I mean, you also have the same characteristics that you're putting out. You're putting out that energy. If you weren't putting out the energy, then nobody would think it. That's why if people are going to have an opinion about you, no matter what, no matter my opinions about you or yours about mine, there's a reason why you think the way that you do. It's because I'm coming off that way. But the reason I'm coming off that way is because you have those same aspects in yourself that you don't want to look at. So instead, it's easier for you to project them onto me, which not that I don't have them. You're absolutely right. But the only reason I have them is because you have them. And we all have a much deeper connection to each other than we think that we do. Even the people that we don't know. Which is weird. That's when it gets kind of weird. But it gets cool at the same time because you start to question things that you were once comfortable with. Because like I said, this all involves just really questioning all of your beliefs. Everything that you thought you knew. Which, I'm not saying you don't know a lot. It's that you don't know enough. Because if you knew more than what you did, then you'd start to see that what you knew was just like everything else on the electromagnetic spectrum, about that much of what's really out there. And realistically, it's more like a sphere. Or a sphere. You're just like one little pixel on said sphere. Like a balloon. Like a balloon. I say sphere. This way you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking monkey terms. A balloon or a ball. Bounce. It's a ball. Those are good. Those are very good. I like them. So then, once we can get the concept of the ball, then we understand what a sphere is. And then take one little aspect, one little point, take a pen and make a mark on that ball. That's you. Once you realize that you're just with that one little speck, and then you can start seeing that there's actually like a bigger hole, then you can start thinking a little bit more outside the box. And then your brain starts working a lot better, and you can start thinking. Or you can continue doing what you're doing, which doesn't matter. I mean, it's just like what people do. People like to ignore everything that's around them. Is that... I don't know. I feel like this is like crazy talk now. But if I think this is crazy talk, it's because you think it's crazy talk. And if you think it's crazy talk, that means because you know that you're a little bit crazy because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Which is fun, because that's exactly why I'm saying what I'm saying. That's what being a wizard is. It's understanding the client before the client understands themselves. That's why this is the most sophisticated form of psychotherapy that anybody could ever deal with, is because, yeah, I know that I'm putting myself out there in a way that I probably shouldn't. But the reason I'm doing it is because I'm doing what not many people have the courage to do. I'm putting myself out there in such a way that I don't think not many people do. I mean, yeah, you got your sicko freaks out there that do some fucking weird, stupid shit, but I feel that at least I'm being semi-genuine because I'm kind of just following what the words that are coming out of my mouth are saying. Which, I don't know if that's weird, if that's what everybody doesn't do, but for some reason, once I started looking inside myself, I pulled this cork sound. And now, all the time, all these voices just kind of filter out of my head. Not voices, they're like just the sounds in my head. I just say the words. It's just that it's more comfortable to do this on video format because I'm talking to myself. It's not very easy to talk to yourself when you're just walking around just talking because it's uncomfortable. The reason I do this live is because I have to imagine, and I say I have to imagine because I have to imagine. Otherwise, it's not real that someone's watching at some point in the future, maybe not right this second, but at some point. So whoever's watching is going to see me nervous. And because they're seeing me nervous now, doesn't mean they're going to see me nervous the next time that they see me. I'm just getting it out of my head right now. They're talking to a lot of people, and it's fucking scary because at some point, I do want to talk to a lot of people. That's why I talk as much as I do. But not many people realize that because they don't take the time to ask me what I'm doing. They just make their own assumptions, or they make assumptions based off other people's assumptions. based off the way I act. So yes, I do bring it upon myself, but you have to also understand that in order to get all of me, that you need to actually ask me the questions yourself. A friend of mine once said, and I later married her because she was the smartest woman I ever met, was some people don't get him. Either that or they do. Either that, I know. Either that or they do, and they just make believe that they don't. It's like you can't. It's like man, it's like the kettle calling the pot black, I guess, for different reasons. It's sorry, demons. I got them running all through me. Very weird. That's why I'm recording this, is because I've never done this in front of people before. Most of the time, I do it when I'm by myself, and it's been a huge fucking fear of mine to do this in front of somebody. And this happened just a couple weeks ago, and I was trying to find the courage to put the camera on, but it was it was not comfortable. Not that it is right now, and it's really not. But the fucked up thing is that I know that this is live, and that anyone could pop up on any minute. I know I only have 14 subscribers, but that doesn't mean that anyone can't pop up right now, or that not anyone's going to see this. And I could delete it. I know that, but I don't want to, because it allows for me to be vulnerable. And it's not like I need to hide any of this stuff. I don't want to hide myself. I need to get open to be, because demons, really? Ghosts? No. There's just more to consciousness than we realize is there. And unfortunately, you want to hide from it, but I don't. And yeah, you know what? It's going to involve me figuring out what's going on in your head. Sorry. Sorry. It's just part of human evolution. I don't know. If I wasn't supposed to be doing it, I wouldn't be doing it. If I'm going to get in trouble for doing it, I'll get in trouble for, you know what? For some reason, I keep finding myself along this path where I think weird shit, and hold on a second. My friend, my friend's messaging me. Let's see if she wants to talk. You're not even here, so it doesn't fucking matter. And the problem, so this will be taken care of in a minute or two. Oh, god damn it. Wrong. This lady I met on fucking Facebook, one of my Facebook groups, Switch lady. She some shit about talking to people and ghosts, and I was gonna see if she wanted to do it on this. This way it's recorded, but I don't know how much longer I can do this for. I'm already recording it. I just want to see if you want to hop on the chat. Oh, sorry. I'm like talking to this lady about having another lady come in and see if we can see the same things with in regards to spirits being around her. I like doing shit like that. I like ghosts. I mean, it's not that they're not real. I mean, you do have to examine that aspect of reality. It's not like you can just go from one pixel of actualization to all of them. You do need to progressively go, and it takes some time to rationalize and to really accept certain things. And I'm not even talking about weird things. I'm just talking about just things. Just whatever. Relationship things, Abby. It's that when you see the just how not important anything is, because everything you thought was what it was is not really what it was. But I guess that's that way for everybody, so fuck them, right? Doesn't really matter. So what was I saying was yeah, I think that broad's gonna bail. I don't have any faith in anybody. Everyone's a coward. Because I don't know why everybody wants like a weird, different life. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's me. I don't know. But my life is very weird. And I don't know if it's just I see things differently or I just am missing some stuff, which is possible that I'm missing some stuff. I have no doubt about that because I was missing a lot of stuff. Because I was seeing things the way that I thought everybody else saw them. And then I started seeing things a completely different way, which is definitely not the way that people see them. So now I'm wondering the way that people see them now and the way that I see things now, if those can marry and be a smarter way of seeing things, because I know there's things that I'm missing and I know there's things that other people are missing. So I'm starting to wonder at what point is it that being stuck in this hellhole of a reality, because that's really what it is. It's like I can't deal with people and their craziness. They're all fucking crazy. But they're no crazier than me in their own respect. I mean, crazy is crazy. It's just like we were saying with the electromagnetic spectrum is that there's multiple degrees in between one end and the other. It's just like with crazy. I mean, crazy has so many spectrums that you have to go through before you're not crazy anymore. I mean, you can't be crazy forever. Nothing is something forever. It's just not possible. How is it not possible? Very glad you asked. Actually, because nothing can't exist. To exist is to be something above nothing. Think of nothing as the concept of the number zero. Nothing, just nothing. Nothing isn't there. Nothing can't be there, because if it was there, it would be something. There is a thing. To exist is to do something. To exist is an action. It's a verb. It's action. Nothing is inaction. Death is inaction. Death does not exist because nothing can exist. Can't exist. And maybe nothing can exist. Maybe perhaps in a singularity. And maybe that's that actuality that I was just talking about. That little pixel of realization is that one speck of nothing, just that one pixel throughout all the cosmos, of an infinite cosmos of pixels, that there's just that one floating around that is nothing, that has absolutely zero value. But even still, that one point has value within itself, in that it is a singular entity. The singularity, if you want to call it that. One place, you know how I imagine it? I was actually talking about this with somebody the other day. Is the single pixel point in all of the cosmos where all sound, light, and physicality and energy exists in just one teeny tiny speck. It's where all of our ideas come from. It's where all of our sensual input comes from. That we are just projections of it, physical projections of an idea. Does that make sense? I hope so, because that was very fucking smart. I'm not too shy to say that. It's okay to not be modest. You don't have to be ashamed of yourself. You don't have to let people tell you that it's not okay to think that you're smart, because if you're smart, you're smart. If you're intelligent, there's nothing that you can do about it. There's no reason to let someone else tell you what you are or are not, because who the fuck is anybody else to tell you who the fuck you are? Ain't nobody can tell me who I am. I mean, they can. I mean, everybody has the right to say that stuff and what's a right, but you don't believe in rights in any kind of way. If you believe in them, then you don't deserve rights. Does that mean why? Because nobody can tell me or you anything. Nobody has any kind of right to say anything. No, you don't have the right. Says who? It's because you're walking around, because you're a fucking bag of meat. There's fucking alligators, and there's tigers, and there's lions, and there's bears, and snakes, and bugs, and all kinds of shit that don't have the right to live. Who the fuck gave you the right to live? I don't know what kind of existence you think you're living. Oh, because someone told you that you had the right to live. No, sorry, they're wrong. Nobody has the right to live. Like, we live in a really fucked up society of animals who think that they're more than animals. I mean, you know what? We have more than what the doggies do. Like, we have intelligence. We can create a society that can function, because though there's shitty parts about this place, and yeah, there really is. I mean, you can't argue with that. I mean, there's just still people arguing about racism and politics and who thinks what about who's having sex with who. It's these are the lowest aspects of who you are as a person, but yet we find ourselves caught in these situations in life where those aspects just continually keep coming up. And yeah, maybe we put to that, but also keep in mind that everything does happen for a reason, and everything that's happened since the beginning of time itself happened for right now to happen, not for. It doesn't matter what you get out of this. This is more for me. This is me, because this is happening right now, right now. Hello, come back right this second. My this second isn't the same as your second. I mean, I could be like a billion seconds ahead of you before you even see this, if you ever see this in the first place. But you're now having the same actualization that I am in your own kind of unique way, because this isn't just about me. Yeah, I'm selfish. I'm a narcissist. I am the definition. I feel like I should probably change my name to narcissist, because that's probably the one mythological figure in all of, not all, not the only. I mean, there's actually a few others that I can relate to as well as I do with narcissist. Because what is narcissist? Narcissist is not someone who's trying to take your energy away from me, man, because I need to get your good feelings, man. No, no. Narcissist was just smarter than everybody else in that he realized that he can energize himself. He doesn't need anybody else. Actually, you know what? His one mistake was that he thought he needed a lake to stare into. When no, poor boy. And you know what? I'm actually going to go so far as that. I was just reading this book, and thank you, Aleister Crowley. I'm the resurrection. I am. My past life was narcissist. Because this is an experiment that I was actually just running with Aleister Crowley last night. It's amazing. That the spirit of narcissist lives within me. The true story of narcissist. Because narcissist, he was so busy staring into the lake that he eventually fell in and drowned. I learned from his mistake, and no, I'm not going to fucking fall in the goddamn lake. No, I was staring in the mirror. At least in the mirror, I know that it's the upside down, the place that we don't want to look at. It's actually probably the scariest place to look is in the mirror, which I know for a fact because it took me a long time before I can actually build the courage to do that. And I have to say that when you do learn how to do it, it actually becomes one of the most empowering exercises that you can bring into your life. And I don't mean exercise like lifting weights. I mean exercise like exercising demons, because like I like to say, stare in the mirror once a day keeps the demons at bay, because you take a look at them, and demons have one weakness, and it's called light. And the only way, and what is your reflection in a mirror but a reflection of the light? So these guys are getting really pissed off. They're telling me to go fuck myself right now. They're trying to scare me. If you delve into the concept of demonology, it's actually pretty terrifying, because, like I was saying, I think I made this analogy how emotions are just kind of like frequencies on a radio dial. Think of AM as the angels and FM as the demons, or however you want to. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can make AM the demons and FM the angels. It's just about where you want to tap into. One man's demon's another man's angel. How's that sound? Does that make more sense? I think so. No. It's like, I told you she was going to bail. See, there's another testament to my powers. So the lady, she's like, I told him, like, I'm doing a YouTube live if you want to see if the lady wants to do it. And she's like, no, right now I just woke up. God, we've just been talking for, maybe she took a nap. I don't know. I didn't mean right this second. Well, no, I guess I did mean right this second, right? Better. This could make it blown off. I'm letting that blown off. That he fucking woke up from a goddamn nap, man. Well, he wants to play with me. I'm doing an experiment, and it seems to be working really well. Aside from the alcohol and the pot, I've been taking off my magic sigils, took off all my rings. So fucking Jesus, I got like serious tan lines on them dogs. Well, I actually lost one. I lost oh my god, I lost my Godfather ring. I don't know where the hell I lost. I think I lost on my birthday, or maybe like a day or two before my birthday, which could have coincided with one of my niece's birthdays, which I don't know if they're even my nieces anymore. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I mean, it matters. It doesn't matter for the sake of this conversation. Yeah, I know. Oh, I know. I'm sitting here realizing that I'm having a conversation with people that aren't there and demons that are pictures on cards in my hand, which is odd because I'm actually having the conversations in my head because I can see every single person that I'm talking to listening to me because I know their reaction to the way that I'm acting. At least my perceived reaction based on what I know about them. Even these cards. See, that's what I like about the card. That's what I like about cards because they tell a story. Not only they tell a story, but they encapsulate an idea, a personality, a way of thinking, almost, and to a point that you can isolate it down to a person or yourself or a situation. Because, I mean, aside from our emotional feelings for people, there are triggers out in the world that make us think of those things. Come back. Oh, no. Things that you don't want to look at. It's like a certain thing reminds you of it. Like you see people walking down the street, song plays on the radio, someone calls you. Do you happen to look at a picture or there's a demon that's in your tarot deck that represents a certain quality that reminds you of something that makes you go, oh, no. And watch. I'll even prove this to you, how relatable this is for me. I don't want to get too much. I hate getting this fucking detail shit, but fuck it. Listen, I don't know if anyone's even listening. Fuck, I know everyone will. Eventually. Why did you say you didn't know? You knew. I knew. It's uncomfortable. Because I'm fucking comfortable doing this shit. You know it, and you know what? Everyone's gonna have already done this by the time they get to me doing this, and it's gonna be like, oh, what fucking doing? So let's just go like that. Can't remember fucking everything I said. Oh, you know what? I think that's a really good idea. Thank you. I just had a talk with the future Derek, and he said, don't forget to remind everybody about the way that you wrote your books. Your books are written to be read from backwards to the forward, from the future to the past, because the future proves the past. That's what makes it so interesting to read, is that you need to read it backwards, like that movie Memorandum, one with the guy with the tattoos, and the tattoos made him remember things, and eventually the story is told reverse. Very interesting movie, and I think, totally. That's oh my god, I was writing the other night. It was so crazy. I was writing my book backwards, telling myself how I was writing the book backwards. And it was when my spirit guide, if you want to call it a spirit guide, actually came through. Everyone says you get a spirit guide, spirit animal, all that shit. I had a spirit guide. It was me from the future. You fucking think you got a spirit animal? You think a spirit animal is more logical or spirit guide? You're talking to your dead dad, talking to your dead mom, like your dead wife, your dead boyfriend, your dead kid, dead dog. You think that's more realistic than me talking to a futuristic version of myself when I personally know that you cannot convince me otherwise. I know because I've been doing this since I was fucking 15 years old, trying to figure out how to perform telepathy. And one of the aspects of the telepathy I want to learn is how to talk to the past or the future. And I got a message in my head that I wrote down, by the way. I wrote some shit. You got to buy the book, motherfucker. I ain't fucking talking about this. This one I'm not reading. Yeah, you know what? Some of the things I might have said was fucking cuckoo bird, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't real. Because not everything that the mind has to say is literal in its meaning. That sometimes the things that we are trying to interpret are meant to be interpreted in a more abstract way. And maybe that's why when we go to our fortune tellers and we go to our palm readers and our insert favorite type of psychic medium that you can, that we give them the credit that we do, is because of the fact that we just have no faith in ourselves. We don't have any faith in ourselves. Why do I say that? Quite simply because if you're putting faith in someone else to heal you, then you are the problem. Because why can't you heal yourself? Oh, I don't know how to do it. Yeah, you do. You're the only one who does. No one can heal you except for yourself. I can't heal you. That's why I don't make money off these things, because it's a ripoff. It's not fair. I'm never going to make money off of this. I need a sugar mama. That's it. I've reached the center of the maze. I won God's little game. I can't go to work. I'm not going to work because you can't afford me. The only thing that you could get me to do is shit like this. That's it. And even that would take a lot, because I don't think most people can handle my ego, which they confuse for an ego, which is not an ego. It's just that I'm more intelligent than you. And the only reason I'm more intelligent than you is because I appreciate my value more than you. If I wanted to be SpongeBob the Fry Chef, I would be SpongeBob the Fry Chef. But I don't want to be SpongeBob the Fry Chef. I'm better than that. If you don't like the fact that I know that I'm better than that, maybe there's something about you that needs to be looked at. Yes, yes? Just because I want to be king of the universe doesn't mean that you're going to fucking tell me that I'm not going to. How about that? But at the same token, I am not the person to tell you that you can't be a fry chef. Right? So, I guess we're even Steve. Come back. And you have to understand how these cards work. You have to understand how these cards work. And every vibrational frequency has a emotion, we'll call it, has a conscious aspect to it. That's why, like, people with depression, they all act the same. People with anxiety, they all act the same. People with all the category mental disorders, they all act the same. And the funny part is we just give those aspects a house. We let them live inside of our temple. Because, I mean, that depression, that isn't you. The anxiety isn't you. The schizophrenia isn't you. It's just a thing. It's just a thing that happens. You know that. It's not you. It's just an aspect that you know. And realistically, you can make it go away anytime you want. It's just you choose to let it surface at certain points. Am I as handsome as I really feel like I'm handsome. I don't know. There's probably another problem with mine. That's probably the ego thing. Yeah. There you go. Like, biggest enemy. Like, no, technically. We are our own worst enemies, and my ego would definitely be a part of me. So yeah, that would mean that my ego is probably my worst enemy. But the fact that I can admit that is putting me a step ahead of most other human beings, and puts a break on that curse that she tried so vainly to put on me to make me think that I'm a problem. Because that's what vampires and monsters and all these other fucking demons do. Because just because a demon represented in card form is an emotional aspect of ourselves doesn't mean that emotional aspect doesn't also exist in the people that are around us. That's probably why they manifest in ourselves. Is the people around us are more like, think of it like a video game. Think of it like Mario Brothers. You go through level 1, part 1, level 1, part 2, level 2, or level 1, part 3, 4, and so on until you go to the boss. The people in our lives are just a shadow of the thing that lies dormant within us. It's not until we can beat those old gods that we can really conquer that old fear within ourselves. And where does that old fear come from? It comes from what I was saying before about those past lives. Don't think that there's more worlds than this, gunslinger. This is just one. Don't be so fucking naive that you think that you know everything. Not that I think that I'm so naive that I know everything. I know that I could be wrong. But you know what? That by realizing that I could be wrong and not living in that static mindset of this is the only way to think, is that I learned that no, that's not only the only way to think. There's actually a fucking infinite ways to think. And when you accept any of those infinite ways to think, it opens your mind to even another amount of infinite ways to think. You've got so many goddamn things that you're thinking about that you have no idea what could have been right, what could have been wrong, and it doesn't matter either way because they were all fucking awesome to begin with. And you're just happy that your mind is able to be imaginative enough to construct these, for the most part, 3-dimensional, 5, 6, 7, 8th dimensional existences in your head. And yeah, you know what? Sometimes you do what you want to, but things come out not always exactly what you want, but close enough. I mean, I ain't gonna say that things in my life are gonna fucking turn around any fucking minute, but it's possible. I mean, what did I say about a burrito last week? I said, you know what? I'm never going to be able to have the chance to have a burrito again. And like 2 days later, I literally had a place that sold burritos. I just happened to keep my word and say that I wasn't going to give in and eat the burrito. And you got no idea how hard that was. I actually had a few instances where a burrito was put right in my face, and I gave it up. You're just laughing about a burrito. You just need a burrito. No shit. If you knew me, you know how much I love burritos and tacos and Chinese food. More than eating a fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I like things. It's good. It's I'm allowing myself to get angry like this. I like it. It's a form of therapy. And what was this? This is 1 hour and 36 minutes, which is close to 1 hour and 38, which is 1 close to 138, which is close to 3 plus 8 is 11, plus 1 is 111, which is 3 ones, which, if you believe in numerology and all this other magical shit that I do, that's a very significant number. Because 1 is the number of unity, and unity is the masculine aspect of all creation. It is the male aspect of God. It is the one. But 1 cannot exist as 1 forever, so 1 must duplicate itself and create a mirror image, its evil twin called 2, which is called duality. And when these 2 aspects come together, 3. A reaction, existence, actuality, where the passive and the active come together and smash and create something. It creates creation, which is 3. But 3 can't exist forever. This little reaction, this chemical reaction, and it has to dissipate through emotion, a shedding of the old self. You go to sleep, your dreams are there to, your dreams are your psychologist. You are your psychologist. You've always been. You just never realized it. You just pay some jerk off to listen to because they don't want to listen to their own problems. All your ailments, all your quakes, all your aches, all your pains, all your pills, all your poppers, all your sniffers, all your shooters, all your dopers, it's all make-believe. You don't need any of it. Yeah, but Derek, you're drinking moonshine, you said. Derek, you said you're smoking a pot pen. Yes, I know. But the reason I'm smoking a pot pen and drinking moonshine is because it allows me to dig into these deeper aspects of myself that I normally would not get into. Because I was sober and there's no reason to, because I'm able to rationalize everything that's going on around me. But now that my mind is a little bit open, because I have learned to look at the aspects of myself that are causing me to drink and smoke and do drugs irregularly, or technically regularly if you look at the habits of most people in the world, it's that when I learned that I was using them as a distraction, and it wasn't that I was addicted. No, these are tools. These are tools that can be used just like a hammer or a phone or a book. Or a book is, what is that? A transfer of information. A phone. What do you use a phone for? To transfer information from one human being to another, one thought to another. You're going on websites to read articles, reading someone else's thoughts to inhabit yours. You are looking at these cards that someone else made to mean something, so they invoke something in you, or so that you can invoke something in someone else. It's all bullshit. You're all fucking scam artists. Every single one of you. But you don't realize it, which is okay, which is, hey, it is what it is. Listen, what am I supposed to expect when I tell every single person in the world that, yeah, you're immortal and you are psychic? You're all the things. You are omnipotent, but you're too stupid to realize it. Unfortunately, you needed me to remind you. Or maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm the fucking crazy one. I don't know. But I don't need you or anyone else to worry about me because I know what I'm doing. Would you prefer me to go to a loony bin and have some strangers drug me up? know the best drugs for me than someone else. Do I tell you what drugs to do? What drugs do you do? Oh, I didn't say you would go out and do heroin. You smoke cigarettes. You take kratom. You drink coffee. You like wine. How often do you use? Every other day? Every day? Once an hour? How often do you use? Like, how much of a junkie are you? Like, what's your junk? Is it drugs? Is it shopping? Is it money? Is it work? Is it hate? Is it sex? Is it kids? You might be a kidder. Oh my God. I know there's at least one of you. I did a lot of work in a church. I know how to detect you motherfuckers. You all smell the same. Smell like everyone else. But bringing it back, even for me, is, yeah, I let this go crazy. I let this go a little bit off the wall. But the reason I do that is to get it out. You have to get it out. You can't just keep all this shit inside of you. And that's really the point. And unfortunately, I mean, realistically, I should be on my ass right now. I mean, I have drank a lot of moonshine. And I'm going to drink some more afterward, maybe smoke a little more pot, just to see if I can keep this mentality going. 7-Eleven while I'm saying that. Jesus Christ. If you're into numerology, 7-Eleven. God damn it. What is 824? I have this weird urge just to find out. And the reason I'm doing this is because I like to sometimes check dates. I write all the time, and currently in the books that I've written, I am right around where I was last year. In a few days, I haven't started this book yet. Why is there so many Saturdays? I was smoking a lot of pot back then. All right, it was Friday. You know what? I think I did the same thing last year. I skipped a couple days because this book is started, or the last one ended on the 18th, which was my birthday. Which I read it on the 17th, which was last week. Oh, no, you know what? I read the 17th, and I meant to read the 18th, but I just got so caught up in the shit that I was doing. My mom took me out for, like, this really fucking awesome dinner. It was fucking a really great time. And then I got home, and then my brother just happened to get back, and he took me out for this fucking really amazing time, too. And we met, like, a whole bunch of fucking really cool people. It was just, like, this really awesome day. It was a huge makeup for last year and what I was planning to do this year. So it was just like really cool to have spent time with everybody. Plus the day before is when I got these cards, which I think I showed them before, the Tower of the Shadows, which my boy Tim from YouTube, and you can find Tim on my interview with me and Tim video. But funny thing with tarot cards, people always say that if you're going to get into tarot cards, the deck that you're going to use usually calls you, and it's like any toy. Like, pick your favorite activity or favorite toy to play with. It's like you just know that's like what you like. The thing. It could be a girl, it could be a car, it could be a TV, it could be sounds, it could be like a musical instrument, it could be something like a computer. There's just that one thing that you just fucking love, and these cards are that, because they encapsulate so much knowledge inside of them, and it's really hard to explain, especially if if you don't come from this background, I'm not saying that you need to. I'm not saying you're any less of a person than I am for not. But you understand it in a different way. It's like, okay, yeah, no, it makes sense. It's like apples and oranges. Like if you've only seen an apple for your entire life, if I showed you an orange, you wouldn't know what the fuck it is, and then vice versa. And it's like, imagine you and me were living on an island, and we only were receiving apples our entire lives, the two of us together, and that when we split up, I was getting oranges and you were getting pears. We realized that there's more out there than just apples. But there's also more than just what we're also seeing. If that makes sense. I think that's making sense. It makes sense to me. And it seems like it makes sense to the person in my head who inspired this. But so I like to certain days. And it comes to my head. It's like, you know what? Everything in the universe happened exactly the way that it did for right now to happen exactly the way that it is for me to say exactly what I'm saying. So I don't know. Like, I don't know what this says. I'm kind of nervous because I'm really nervous about the things that I say. But given the way that I say things and the way that I say them, maybe saying fuck it and just saying it is just the thing to do. Because, I mean, this oh, God damn it. Maybe... think of it like therapy. All right. Maybe remember, this is last year. This isn't right now. I don't know if I want to read this. This is embarrassing as fuck. And I'm just kind of skimming. Okay. It kind of dawned on me this morning. Yes. This is 8/24/18. It was a 7. It's 7 o'clock now. It was 8:17 in the morning, and you have to understand that at this point in my life, if you were keeping up with all the saga that's been going on, I like to document my life when I have the inspiration to do so. And for a long time, I haven't done that. I never did it, and it wasn't until last year that I really started to. And I'm noticing the videos cutting in and out, and I don't know why it's doing that, but whatever. Not whatever. Sorry. It's not that you don't mean anything to me. You really do. Just sometimes I don't know how to show it. Just like you. And then when I decided to really start documenting things, it was because I started to think differently, and I started to notice that it helped in bringing aspects of myself that I was scared to look at to the surface. How about that? I didn't realize it at the time. Like I said earlier, the future proves the past, and my books are meant to be read backwards, because when you see what the goal is and then see how I formulated it, that's the key. Think of it like reverse engineering Windows with Bill Gates helping you. Imagine Bill Gates teaching you how he made his system, like the original system, like the first one before he made all the money. Imagine he didn't make all the money. Imagine he made a different choice in his life. Imagine he said, you know what? We can make God with this, which is what they did essentially. The internet is just an artificial God that you are inserting your thoughts into. You're inserting your fears, your emotions. And I was getting into this earlier before, is what is God and what is consciousness and all that this little pixel that you are and all this other shit. But look at the internet, for instance. The internet is this cold, dead thing that we put our energy and our emotion and our passion into. And that's energy no matter how it's manifested. It may not be manifested in ooh and sparks and lightning coming out of our fingers. But lightning in a bottle doesn't necessarily mean literally lightning stuck in a bottle. It could just be a metaphorical concept for something that you're creating, which is something that no one else has seen before. So it's incumbent upon you to give it to the world so that the world can to manipulate and molest your idea. Because no, my ideas are too grand. I can't make what I want. I realize that. No, I can manipulate all of you fucking idiots, though, to take my ideas and use them for yourselves, because why do you think I have you even watching this? Do you think that the reason that you found this was an accident? Of course not. I've been leaving you breadcrumbs since the fucking moment you first heard my name. I knew about you long before you ever did. And the reason you're here is because of my magic. Because I'm the best goddamn magician in the world. And by now, at 2 hours, if you're still fucking watching this, you deserve all the brainwashing that you're receiving. You little fucking monkey. Because if you notice, and you go back, and you're going to notice it no matter what now, is where those little instances where I go off the cue and I start telling you things specifically to yourself and you start listening. Yeah, because I realize that you're listening, and I'm just giving you a little bit of subliminal messaging. It's just that your mind is creating these traumatic little episodes. It's like rolling a pin down your shin. Micro fractures. Just planting little seeds. But in actuality, that's how existence really is. That's how we should be conducting ourselves in the first place. We should be figuring out, one, what is it that we want in our lives, and how do we want our lives to turn out? But then what do we have to do to actually make those things happen? We don't have to just sit back and wait. You are the manipulator or you're the manipulated, but you're always a manipulator and you're always manipulated, no matter what. And there's nothing that you can do to change it. It's just reality. Exploitation of the weak is a natural law. And what is the weak? Who says you're weaker than me? Who says I'm not weaker than you? I didn't say 721 right now. Oh my God. 7. Why is that? 7's a very spiritual number. It was God's favorite number. In the Kabbalah, it was God's favorite number. And in Christianity, it's God's favorite number. The number 777 is God's number. It's considered the perfect number. Right now, it's 727. 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 21, which is 3 sevens. 3 is the number of creation, which is a very potent number. And when you add 3 and 7 together, 3 times 7 is 21. So 721 is a very mystical time. 722 now, but 721 is actually the birthday of this very, really pretty girl that I know. And if there is such thing as magic, which there is, she should be reaching out to me shortly to say, hey, we'll say. If not, I'm wrong. It doesn't matter. But if I'm right, it's just this weird feeling I get. And the reason I say that is because I like to say the weird feelings I get. The reason I like to say the weird feelings I get is just in case the weird things that I feel come true. But typically they don't when I say them to people. Why is that? It's like, think of it like the jinxing system. It's like, do you ever get jinxed? It's just like that. It's like you're jinxing yourself when you say something's going to happen and then it just doesn't happen. It's like when you tell people your plans and then your plans don't work out exactly the way that you thought they were going to because you, like the bad guy in the movie, you gave all your plans away. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to work out exactly how you wanted it. Most of the time, it's just that you postpone things that happen. I don't know if any of that's even making sense. Yeah, but you know what? It's coming from a level of understanding that you might not be normalized with. And not that you need to be. I mean, it's your own thing. I just have a different way of learning and a different way of understanding things than you do. I've tried your way, it didn't work, and then I found my own way, and it worked a lot better for me in understanding the way that the world works. And yeah, you talk a little cuckoo sometimes, and yeah, you do a couple cuckoo things sometimes, and it's like, and what I mean by cuckoo, you get a little drink during the day, get high during the day. So what? It's not like you don't. It's not like I spend every single day high. Sometimes I like to indulge. Exactly. And the fact that I can't admit it don't bother me at all. So what do these cards mean to me? Anyway, I alluded to them a while ago, and I never really explained it. And well, you know what? I'm glad I didn't, because hopefully you sat through most of this 2 hours. Think of it like your reward for being a loyal servant of the Dark Lord. I didn't say that, you did. Is that I'll teach you a little thing or two about thing or two. All right, so the first card is Malthus. These are demon. This is called the Demon Tarot. It's by Ariana Osborne. It's actually a really amazing deck. This one helped me out a lot, just with a lot of my own personal problems. They're 62 or 68 cards. They're based on the Infernal Dictionary by, what's his name? Louis Breton, Jacques Augustin Simon Colin de Plancy. Very cool cards. Artist is, I don't know his name. I don't. You're going to have to look it up yourself. Very neat. The book itself, I don't know if there's an English version. I know it's in French. This guy, I love this guy. My son loves this guy. But basically, what you have to understand is, like I was saying earlier, is that demons are just a vibrational energy, and that it's able for us to tap into these vibrations. But sometimes we need a little bit of an enhancer to get there. So I prefer alcohol and drugs. Not that I do them on a regular basis, that I'm always high, but when I'm working, I need to be high when I work. Because, and what's my work? My work is to explore myself with these cards. And I don't know if I'm comfortable reading any passages, but I can tell you that for the past few days, I've been working on a project. One of the books that I'm writing is about proving that the tarot and mysticism, that all this stuff's real astrology. And to see a lot of people, like they like to read books and they like to repeat other people's words. What I'm doing is I'm reading my own words based on my own experience. Because like I said earlier, yeah, you can call me a liar, but you can't convince me that I'm lying. And if you're not trying to convince me that I'm lying, who are you trying to convince that I'm lying? Because if you're trying to convince someone else that I'm lying, then what is it that you're afraid I'm going to tell them? I don't know. So here's the thing: is that I'll start reading them. It's just I'm not comfortable right this second, because a lot of these cards they have these deeper meanings, and you get pulled into this plume of energy that. So, for instance, this first card, Malthus. This guy, he's a bird. What Malthus is about is he's about building walls, those metaphorical walls that we build up around ourselves when we don't want to allow anybody new in. When we try to block people off from finding out who we are. That's what Malthus is all about. So when I look at a card like that, what I imagine is how that would relate to me, building up walls. What do I do? So I think back to the most easiest one I could think of is my mother. And my mother is, like, I build walls around my relationship with my mother right now because I don't tell her everything about me. But she also doesn't tell me everything about her. It's a lot with, well, not even just with my mother, but just most people around me, because I'm so used to people not knowing what to say when I tell them about me that it's just easier for me just to They'll say nothing. I mean, people talk to me. I listen to people all the time. It's a gift that I picked up, is learning to talk. When you stop talking, it's easier to start listening. And as much as I do love to talk, sometimes I realize it's not that time. I don't know. I mean, it's difficult to tell with certain people because everybody has a different phase that they're going in of what's right and what's wrong to do. So you don't really know when the right time is to take those walls down. But what I've learned is, and Malthus is, and I think this is a really great example, because this is what I learned because of specifically this card, is that just because that wall's there for me, just because that wall's there for someone else, just because our two walls are colliding every time we try to make a connection, it's just that those two aspects don't jive. And when you take a positive and you try to put them both together, what do? They repel. It's like a magnet. You have to wait until one becomes a negative and one becomes a positive, or you just go look for a negative instead of trying to attract to a positive. And what this guy shows is maybe it's not them. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're the cause of your problems. Maybe it's okay to take those walls down because maybe people are ready to see who you are, because maybe they just don't give a fuck. Maybe they never gave a fuck to begin with. Or maybe they just been waiting for you to fucking show the world who you are. Maybe. Or maybe not. Because if they're not, that means that somebody else is. Because they're not the only person in the world, right? Because there are 8 billion people in the world. 4 billion are one way, 4 billion are the other way. One way is man, one way is lady. You have a plethora of little puzzle pieces to try to fit in your little puzzle of a life. But that brings us to our next card, which is Haborim, which I think I picked the book up before because I said I was going to look at what he meant. And I just want to double check, because some of these cards, I mean, listen, for a year, the fact that I know them as well as I do is amazing. So if I have to look at a couple, you can shit your pants. And this is actually pretty relevant. Beware of sharp wit and cunning becoming a destructive force if not tempered with consideration. And what that card really says to me is, don't be an asshole like you used to be all the time. Just try to hold your fucking tongue, which I do really well. But I don't think that this reading is for me, because that's a lesson that I learned a long time ago. I don't talk like I used to anymore. I try to keep myself pretty calm. And sometimes I do get a little bombastic with the way I speak, but it's not in any way that I know what this card is talking about, because the way I used to be is a way that I would imagine that me saying that I'm the Antichrist, people would have doubted me back then. They probably would have believed it a lot more than they believe it now, but that's really good. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he never existed. And the reason for that is so that he would wait until they were comfortable and that they were too fat and lazy to stop him, and then he would pull off his sheep's clothing and go, "Ha ha, you dumb cunts.